I can't hear anyone behind me either, so I think it's just mano a mano, salmon versus light it up. Who's gonna take it? And here we go, I get to the marshal and I start to kick, 100 meters to go, and I'm really pushing. Can we get under that 1931 mark? And we finish with a... What is up, run fans? I have got a bit of a treat for you today because this is the first time since my stress fracture that I am giving it a full go on a flat course. I've done a little 3K jog over and now we're giving it a proper go. Conditions are not ideal. There's a 20 to 40 mile an hour headwind from an easterly direction. We're heading to the west currently, but hopefully I can give you a bit of a masterclass in how to hide yourself from the wind, because I've got a background in cycling and I've learned many tricks of the trade to make the most of my energy when it's a big old headwind. So we're hoping we're going for a sub 20. I was running across thinking I'm just going to take it easy, but I got to the front of that start line, got myself in a good position, and once that lady shouts go, I'm giving it a full send, if I'm honest. So we're already heading out at sub 3:30 pace into this big headwind, and all I'm doing at the moment is I'm looking for people to hide behind. I'm just going to try and hide behind and jump across, and as you can see, this gentleman's going slightly too slow, so I'm going to jump ahead. Ideally, I want to be up with that yellow jacket man. There's a nice group there. I can really hide and be protected. One person solo to hide behind isn't ideal. I've got to try and find a group. So I'm settling in, not wanting to overdo it. Fluorescent beanie man comes to my rescue, and he's going to take me to the higher ground, to the people that I want to be running with. So I'm hiding right behind him, and I'm going to follow his coattails as close as possible. I'm going to try and match his stride if I can to get literally right behind him to protect myself as best as I can. My PB is a 1931. My max heart rate is 190. So you can see exactly how hard I'm pushing. We've got the total time in the bottom right hand corner as well. And yeah, hopefully Hove Parkrun, we're going to come up trumps today, even with some adverse conditions. Now, Yellow Beanie Man is starting to accelerate a bit. He's pushing a bit on. I think he's trying to get to that group just up ahead as well. And I would rather burn some matches now to get into that group and secure a place, because we go up and back twice. So we've got a lovely tailwind section after this, but then we've got a long headwind section, another tailwind section, and then we finish in a headwind. So I'm planning ahead and I'm wanting to make sure that I'm with a group. So in my previous videos, I've talked about negative splits and pacing it and things like that. But today I'm willing to burn those matches early to get in the right position to do the best time I possibly can. People are already starting to fall back where they've gone out slightly too hot, and that's good for the morale because I'm at 176 BPM. I'm starting to hurt as well, but I'm just following Fluorescent Yellow Hat Man. That is the perfect thing to do as we cross these people. I'm trying to keep it below that 4 minute per kilometer pace. Now, I saw a 21 minute pacer, and there wasn't a 20-minute pacer as far as I thought, but there is actually one. I just see them later on. Now, here's the turn. So we've already done one headwind section. Now we've got a nice, lovely tailwind. But instead of really hammering it, I'm being clever here, and I'm using this as a slight recovery because I know we're going to be hitting that big headwind for a long old section very soon. So I'm making sure that I'm keeping a decent pace, but I'm not spending all my energy trying to keep up with the Yellow Hat Man. He can go, and if we meet later on, then that's fine, but I'm going to go to the max I can over the 5K. So we've got super bouncy, lovely technique, heely flicky red jacket man. And he's going to be in this video quite a lot. We were running together and I always thought, right, I can run with him. And when we get to the next turning point, I can use him to hide behind as well. There's a little group coming up just behind. I can hear their footsteps and I'm thinking, actually, rather than burn too many matches, I'm just going to keep it nice and easy as we go through the 1K mark in 3:55. So a really nice start considering most of that was into a headwind. I know that I can push on and really finish the second half of this strong. But I'm in unknown territory because I've not run this fast for a very long time. I've done lots of pacing videos and longer efforts and things, but the real red line 5K effort is a bit unknown to me lately. So yeah, let's see if I can hold on to it. Just for reference, PB pace is 3:54. So for a 1931, I've got to be doing 3:54. So I am currently a second over, and that's obviously a stretch goal. I want to just try and get under 20. And then we can just see what happens from there. This nice gentleman is having a chat to me saying it's much nicer to be running this direction. I agree with him. No idea why the slope of the top right hand corner was saying minus 13% there, because this is a completely flat park run. It's usually got about 800 runners at it. I'm not sure of the exact number at the moment because I'm still waiting for my parkrun email to come through to A, tell me my exact time, and B, tell me how many runners and my position as well. This young lad came flying through. He's paced it really nicely that first K and is now pushing on in the tailwind. I decided not to go with him. He's too small to hide behind. So a red jacket man, he decides to follow, and I'm not being silly. I'm not gonna strike up a match just yet because there are plenty more people coming around me. So I'm gonna hide in the bunch in a minute when we do our second 180-degree turn. But for now, I can run with clean air in front of me and just keep that pace. I'm not looking at my watch too much, but I know we have slowed slightly, but I'm okay with that because I'm feeling comfortable. My heart rate, as you can see, is 175, so I've still got about 15 beats per minute before I'm absolutely at a red line. So 175 I can run a half marathon at and much of a marathon at. So I'm feeling really comfortable at the moment. The shoes, my Asics Metaspeed Sky Parises, the last time I wore them was at Brighton Marathon. And so it's nice to do a faster effort in these because they're so light and I really can feel the difference in them. I've been using my Alpha Flyers loads, absolutely love those. But these Metaspeeds are flipping special, I absolutely love them. So yeah, they're going really well. And as you can see, this group, Red Jacket Man, has decided to actually slow up a tiny bit, and I'm gonna hide behind them very soon. Now, this is my little group for now, and I'm confident that we can push on in the headwind in a minute. Right, we're approaching the 2 kilometer mark now and the tight 180 turn. I'm going to go out nice and wide, taking the racing line, and it's a 3:51, so we're 2 seconds ahead of our target time, but that has been with a tailwind all the way, but I've kept my heart rate under control, so I'm absolutely buzzing for that. But now the hard work starts. So I've made sure I'm at the back of this group, and I want to make sure I've got as many bodies between that headwind and me as possible. So I'm following this gentleman just in front of me as close as I can. The camera doesn't really do it justice, but I'm almost falling over his feet. And we spread out into a bit of a duck formation now, a flying V or half a flying V, and I'm making sure that I'm nice and tucked in. Gentleman in the sort of salmon-y t-shirt on the left, he looks like he could be a good person to hide behind. He's got a nice constant stride, not pushing too hard, and Red Jacket Man is just up ahead, so I've got him in my mind because I think he's running at the same sort of pace that I want to run at. So I'm not going to go too soon, because if you commit to going to the next person because the person in front of you is going too slow, you've got to make sure you can get across without going too hard and burning all those bridges. So I'm keeping nice and close and making sure that I'm ready to go when needed. Apologies for the rain on the camera. I did try and wipe it as much as possible, but the wind was absolutely savage and it was just raining constantly too. But I absolutely love these conditions. I always think the harder it is, the faster I go. And so, yeah, I'm absolutely in my element here in these bad elements. So the pace is still really good, but I can feel it. It's starting to slow slightly. These people have been running into that headwind, and I can see that their strides beginning to labour slightly. They're finding it hard because it is a super hard work. So I pick my moment, and I reckon I can jump across to Red Jacket Man. Here I go. Little push, little squeeze of the accelerator, and I get right up behind him. I don't go beyond him. I'm just going from person to person, and now I'm tucked in nice and tight. Because those guys have been doing a lot of work, they can't quite follow straight away because they're on the red line, whereas I had a little bit in the tank to be able to jump across. And, you know, maybe that's not, I should have done a bit of a pull on the front as well, but I'm in it for just me for today, and I promise that I'll do some work for other people, and hopefully people would have been following me too, but I didn't have a chance to turn around very much. As you can see, I'm always looking forwards, but I'm more than happy for someone to follow me. But for today, I'm doing no work in the wind. I'm not putting my nose in the wind whatsoever unless I absolutely have to. And right now, Red Jacket Man is more than happy to bounce along and take on that the pacing duties. We're at 4-4. Here we go, Triangle Man. Now, as he comes past, I'm just going to latch onto him. Anyone that comes past, I'm just going to jump across and I'm going to sit behind them. Now, I think he was very aware what I was up to, and he tried a few of his own tactics of slowing down, trying to get me just to push ahead slightly, but I was having absolutely none of it. I am not going to risk it. I'd rather run slightly slower behind you, and if it was too much, then I would go. But he was always running at just the right pace that I needed. Even if it's slightly slower, I was happy to do that because I knew I could make that up in the final sections as well. I would rather have someone in front of me running slightly slower than running on my own faster and using up all that energy as we come across another person who's maybe gone out slightly too hot, and this long stretch of headwind was absolutely taking some names today, but it was not taking mine. So into the 3rd kilometre, and we've done that in a 3:59, so we're only 3 seconds behind as Red Jacket Man decides to take his turn on the front. I am being so selfish, I feel awful. Triangle Man, Red Jacket Man, I apologise. Thank you so much for helping me. You are my absolute heroes. I promise the next time we're running and it's windy, I'll do my fair share. But for today, I couldn't risk going too hard in the wind because I was just going to blow up. So considering it's been all into this headwind, a 3:59 for that 3rd kilometre is absolutely amazing. And we're nearing that turning point. Then we've got the long tailwind stretch and then only a short 500 metre or so effort into the wind again. And we all know the last kilometre doesn't count. And we also know this next kilometre is the hardest one, but I really, really relish the pain and challenge of it. So instead of thinking, oh my goodness, how am I going to do it? I sit into it, I really enjoy it, and I push on. We have a quick look here, and this is where I see the 20-minute pacer just coming past there, and I look at him, look back to see, oh my goodness, that's 20 minutes. So I know that I'm on for a decent time because he's pretty far back compared to where we are. And now it's just a case of settling into this 3rd to 4th kilometre and really making sure we've got a big kick left to try and get the job done. I know I'm close to my PB time. I don't know exactly because I missed a few of my kilometre splits and stuff like that, but I know I'm roughly around the sort of sub-4 mark consistently for the last few kilometres, and I know I've got a big kick in me for that last 500 metres or so. So I think it'll be close, but I reckon I'll be able to sneak under. I did hear the lady at the halfway mark saying 9:45, so I knew I was on track. And as we can see, all the fantastic runners there suffering in the wind as we enjoy our tailwind. They'll soon get to enjoy their tailwind as well. But I'm just running on the shoulder of Mr. Red Jacket, and let's see if we can get the job finished off. Now, there's a bit of dilemma here because Mr. Hat comes past and he's running at a lovely pace and there's no headwind. So I think actually there's a decision to be made here. I can either sit where I am or I can really push. And when you're in this stage of a 5K, the last thing you necessarily want to do is push. You always want to take the easier option. But I thought, no, I'm going to start to push on myself. I'm going to, see if the group's going to come with me. And they do exactly that. Red Jacket Man takes it on again, and then White T-shirt also comes past. So we've got a nice little group following this guy just up ahead now, and I can sit in. My heart rate's going towards 180. I've still got plenty of distance to go, and a few more people come past as well. I'm running at the same pace. They're all making a bit of a push here, and I'm more than happy to let them come past and sit behind them, because I know the more people when we get to this next 180 that I've got in front of me, the easier that last 500 meters is going to be, and then I can kick on past them at the very end. So more than happy to be running along at this pace with these guys. I know we're all going to be on for roughly a 19:30 if we just keep going, because even though I'm running at a slightly slower pace than the target pace, that last kilometre, I know I'm going to be able to kick on. There's Salmon Shirt Man. He's been lurking in the shadows, probably using some of my techniques against me as well. So he's done a very good job too. And we'll see a bit more of him towards the end, I think. Into the 4th kilometre then, and it's a 3:57. I'm really happy it's still sub 4. We're now up to 6 seconds behind, so I've got to find a pretty special last kilometre, because a 3:54 is what I've got to do overall. And so if I'm 6 seconds behind, that means I've got to bust out a 3:48 minimum to make it to a 19:31 to equal my PB. So yeah, fingers crossed, but I'm using this tailwind still. We're pushing on. We've got a really good group, and I know I've still got something in the tank for that final kick. There's a few people up ahead, white t-shirt man and the hat man up ahead in the black t-shirt. They're pushing on, and I'm not confident enough to make that jump to them just yet. So I'm sitting in this group. I'm recuperating as much as I can with what I've got ready for a kick towards the last kilometre. So let's see what we can do when we get to that turnaround and that final bit of headwind hits us straight in the face. Here we go then, at that final 180, and you can see we've got a few people ahead. Salmon Shirt Man has made a bit of a go for it. He's gone early, and I'm still keeping my powder as dry as I can. I decide now's the time to start going, and I'm making that jump across, a big push up to Salmon Shirt, because I want to get behind him and then maybe start going towards white shirt and black shirt with the black hat. And so I'm slowly creeping up. I'm down to 3:30 pace. Can we get below 3:30 pace on this final 500 meters? I'm looking at my watch and I can see that it's going to be touch and go, and I need to really kick on now, but I'm still running within myself. I'm not absolutely dead on my legs just yet. It's hurting, absolutely it's hurting, but I'm asking myself, how bad do I want it? And this is where all you guys come in, because knowing that people are going to be watching this and I'm going to be doing this commentary right now doesn't half spur you on and make you accountable for making a massive effort, because I've got to commentate on it and I want to make myself a good video that's entertaining for you guys and also myself. So thank you so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe on the channel. That would be absolutely incredible. I'm nearly at 250, or hopefully by the time you watch this I'm beyond 250 subscribers. That would be incredible. So as we come here, 200 meters to go, I'm just sitting on his shoulder and I'm thinking, right, how bad do both of us want it? I want it pretty bad, so I'm going to give it a right old go in this final 200 meters. I'm not going just yet. White shirt is out of the question. They finished super strong. Well done to them. I can't hear anyone behind me either, so I think it's just mano a mano. Salmon versus Light It Up. Who's going to take it? And here we go. I get to the marshal and I start to kick. 100 meters to go, and I'm really pushing. Can we get under that 19:31 mark? And we finished with a 19:24. Get in there, Lewis. Come on, my son. We absolutely love to see it. That hurt a lot. The GPS is slightly out. I carry on walking to get the 5K on my Strava. But as far as Parkrun is concerned, that was a 19:24 with an absolutely heroic last kilometre. It was a 3:41 in the end, which I'm really pleased with. There were a lot of fast runners out today. So 24th place in Hove, I could not be happier with. A massive thank you to all these absolutely legendary volunteers coming out in this awful weather. They are really the heroes of the running community here, because without them it would just be a run along the beach and nowhere near as fun, no content, and nowhere near as entertaining. So thank you to them. And also a massive thank you to everyone who's been getting involved with the channel and watching, particularly over Radvent and in these early stages of the channel. It means a massive amount. Right, that is Hove Parkrun done. Absolutely over the moon with that effort. Absolute masterclass in running behind people in the wind. All my cycling years paying off there. And, yeah, hopefully I can show you that in the video you just watched as to how what goes through my mind and how I do it. Because yeah, I think that's pretty decent effort there. Yeah, on to tomorrow now, and then we've got a bit of rest before we hit big miles next week over the Christmas period, trying to fit it all around family, which obviously comes first. So yeah, let's go.